talk about your evolution as a football player as a whole, where you think you improved most. And yeah, if you want to expand on that interception, like I said, I totally blanked on that. I didn't even know you had a pick. So that's my bad.
I can tell you all the details. That game was funny because that was that Virginia game.
Yeah.
And that senior year was really, really tricky because if we win that Virginia game, you know, how different is that season? I'd say that probably about 4 or 5 different games.
Yeah.
And, you know, how different is Lou Holt's history. But went up there, Matt Schaub, all of those guys from Virginia, Billy McMullen, one of the hugest wide receivers ever.
Was Heath Miller on that team too? Was that Heath Miller?
Heath was on that team, but Heath was young.
Yeah.
Daryl Blackstock, a whole bunch. There was like 10 guys who were sophomores that ended up I played with the Cardinals and all these different things, which was crazy. But yeah, Langston Moore intercepted the Virginia Cavaliers. They were coming into the red zone. For whatever reason, Charlie Strong calls a defense where I drop into coverage in the red zone, and it worked. And Matt Schaub just turns and throws it to me. So I intercepted. I'm in the end zone. It would be smart of me, 400-pound Langston Moore, 900 yards to go this way to score. Go ahead, take a knee. Langston Moore decides, let's try to juke some people and take this up the field. And then somebody slaps it out my hand, and that interception became a fumble. They recovered it for a touchdown. And
see, I totally forgot about that.
But luckily, I blocked the extra point. Nobody gives a damn. You messed up the biggest play. But that game was so crazy because there was a fight on the field afterwards. I remember Corey Jenkins. That was kind of like when Corey was starting off. That was the second, third game of the year. Everybody had us hyped. We had so many guys coming back. Matthew Thomas took the kickoff back for 100 yards, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Thomas. Yeah,
I think Matthew. And so that game was back and forth the whole time. The reason I remember Billy McMullen, that wide receiver, he cracked back on me. Oh my God, I thought it was dead. I was like, he caught me and then he stood over me. He was like, how does that feel? And I was like, why are you going to ask me a question like that, sir? It hurts. It hurts on the inside. But that game was crazy, man. And that whole senior season was crazy. And that always goes to show we had a whole slew of talent. We had a whole bag of talent. But again, I always put this on myself. Like, we didn't do it. I didn't do a good enough job as being one of the captains to try to keep everybody solidified on that North Star because, we were 1 or 2 games from being to the bowl game. And I think at that point, when we were kind of out of contentions for actually winning the SEC East because we had so many big expectations, a lot of guys were like, man, let's just get ready for the pros and all that. And again, that wasn't something that was said out loud, but it was kind of like,
right.
And that was one of the disappointing things for myself. Senior year, the growth of me, I guess, was all attributed to just being able to play in a good system, good defense. I always loved the John Randalls of the world, the Warren Sapps of the world. Love to kind of play like that 4 down, get up the field defense, but the defense we were playing wasn't that at all. It was a kind of a 2-man, 2-gap deal, and we would spike and do a bunch of different things. So, for me, I had to figure out how to play a 2-gap scheme and not be too heavy and still be quick enough to shoot the gaps and different things. So I just think I just was coachable the whole time. I wanted to play a different defense, but once I got to South Carolina, I didn't care about the defense. I just wanted to be out there and contributing.
Right.
And so again, just finding out different ways to, be a factor, get on there. That's the beautiful thing about playing for great coaches and great staffs. There's a wealth of former players and guys that you can talk to, and they can say, you probably won't play in this position in the next level, but keep doing this for us, and that just really shows how coachable you are and all these different things. So for me, I think the biggest growth for me wasn't physically my body because I was 150 pounds in the 3rd grade. I was always going to be a big kid. The biggest thing for me was always the growth in between my brain and how to play the game and trusting myself to play the techniques and do all those things, even when it feels like I need to be out there making up stuff and trying to impose my will. That's not how you really do those things.
Right.